YouTube? This is VShook, and I'll be giving you guys 12 tips on how to improve your kill-death ratio in Black Ops. So this can apply to many different games or other first-person shooters. I guess you can apply this to Forza Motorsport or anything like that, but other first-person shooters this could apply to. The first tip I'll give you is don't be afraid to camp. Now, camping is kind of frowned upon in the Call of Duty society, I guess. It's something you shouldn't do, something that's bad to do. You should never camp. No, no, no. Well, I like to think of camping as kind of you being the customer and people waiting on you. And people just keep coming at you and serving you food, and you just take the food and eat them. That was kind of a weird analogy, but when you camp, play conservatively and just stay in one spot for 3 or 4 kills, and then move on to the next spot like a parasite. I'm just full of analogies today. The second tip is don't get mad, chill out. When you get mad, you tend to play a lot more aggressively than you should. You run out like a crazy man in the middle of the map, and you just don't tend to get the kills or the good kill-death ratio that you really want out of that game, and it tends to get you more mad after the game. It's just like a big chain of madness, and you should never ever rush out in the middle of the map when you get mad. If you do get mad, just stay back, just camp a little bit, get a couple kills, and you'll be fine. The next tip, number 3, is find a new approach. Now, finding a new approach means if someone is camping in an area, maybe, you can find a new way to get to them and kill them, as opposed to running through the same doorway every single time and getting your head blown off. Finding a new approach also applies to when you're running away from gunfire. You can find a new wall to climb over, you can find a new window to crawl into, or any of those kinds of things. The fourth tip is play with friends, and if you don't have friends to play with, or if you don't want to play with your friends, use huppetgaming.com, I believe is the name of the website. I'll have it in the description. It helps you find people to play with, and I highly recommend it. When you play with friends, you definitely have a higher morale. You have people to play with, and you can count on them to get their share of the kills instead of playing with random people all the time. The fifth tip I'll give you is get on the high ground. This is really important in almost every single first-person shooter. Also in Halo, that's where I first learned about this tip, where you should always get the high ground. Getting the high ground is important because when you get the high ground, you can see more of them and they can see less of you on most occasions. When you can see more of them and you can just see the top of their head and they can just see the bottom of your feet, you're in a way better situation than they are. So always get on the high ground. When you're on the high ground, people will come to you because they want to get on the high ground, and you can usually rack up a lot of kills that way. The next tip, number 6, is don't play like you see people play in a montage, basically. Now, this tip is really important because a lot of people, when they see montages, they believe that people can do that every single game. And the fact of the matter is, they can't. I don't think anyone can get a montage clip every single game, unless you're Grizz. So unless you're Grizz, don't play like you see people play in a montage. Or if you're going for montage clips, I guess this is one of those things that if it applies to you, then do it. If it doesn't, then don't. The 7th tip, I guess, is aim high. The multipliers really do matter in this game, since it's not as much of a twitch shooter, and you take more bullets before you die, and other people take more bullets before they die. So getting those multipliers really does help out. Aiming high, just taking the time to aim before you shoot people, really does help out a lot. The 8th tip applies mainly to long range, and it's shoot in bursts. When you have an assault rifle or an SMG, shooting in bursts really does help a ton. And I guess it doesn't really apply close range. Usually you'll get lit up before you can start shooting your burst. But long range is really important to shoot in bursts. So just stick to that. Just think about shooting in bursts. Don't try to spray across the map because the recoil will just kill you. The 9th tip is try new guns or kill streaks or perks. Just mix it up. Variety is the spice of life in this game. As long as you keep mixing it up with your perks and your kill streaks, you'll stay entertained by this game. And yeah, if you can't think of any new guns, or you're not that creative, then look at Commentator's gameplay and look at his gameplay and just try using the setup that he has if you want to, and then just work off of that. The next tip I have for you, number 10, is don't switch guns during a game unless you absolutely need to. This is so important. I know all the time when I'm raging, I always switch up my gun. I think it's like my gun's jammed or something, and I need to switch it up. I don't know. The guns in this game are so balanced that you really, really can do well with any gun in this game. Switching up your guns will only throw you off unless, like I said earlier, This is one of those things that if it applies to you, then do it. If it doesn't, then don't. And yeah, that's the 10th tip. The 11th tip is communicate. This kind of goes with the 4th tip, play with friends. Communicating is really important because it kind of creates a UAV in your mind, and you can know where everyone is at a time. And communicating helps out your team and you at the same time. If you say someone's at B and the little commentator guy in game goes, they're capturing B or whatever, then you can kind of reinforce what he's saying and just get the communication going. No matter what you're saying, just get something out there. Don't be shy. Like I said, this goes with playing with friends because you'll be less shy about talking to them and communicating. The last tip I'll give you, the very last one, is learn the callouts for the game. I know there's Game Guide where you can see all the callouts for every single map. If you don't know the callouts, on the mini map, if you look at it, there's a little grid and it has like A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, B3, and you can just use those because people generally know what you're talking about. So that was my video on how you can improve your Black Ops kill death ratio. I really hope you guys can follow those tips. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please comment, rate, subscribe, do what you want to do. Catch you guys next time. Peace out.